Hey, so in this video today I'll be showing you a presentation I gave in my biology class. It goes about aquaponics and how the nitrogen cycle works. It goes into the process of when ammonia from the fish is converted into nitrates that the plants can use. So hopefully you can gain something from it, and I'll show you that right now. Okay, so today I'll be talking about aquaponics. Has anyone here heard of aquaponics or knows what aquaponics is? Quick raise of hand. Okay, a few. So what is aquaponics? So basically aquaponics is a mixture of hydroponics, which is growing fruits and vegetables in basically just water with nutrients, and aquaculture, which is fish farming. So the problem with these two is that they do produce a lot of waste. So the solution is aquaponics, which combines both of these to reduce the waste dramatically. So the fish at the bottom is the aquaculture part, and the plants at the top is the hydroponics. So the fish produce waste, which help the plants grow, and the plants in turn filter the water and give clean water back to the fish. So aquaponics is a very sustainable way of growing both the fish and plants. So a little benefits or differences between aquaponics and regular gardening. In aquaponics, it actually uses 90% less water than regular gardening. This is because in regular gardening, when you water the plants, the water just goes through the soil, and some of the water the plants are able to absorb, but most of it just percolates downwards. Whereas in aquaponics, since it's a recirculating ecosystem, the water stays in the system, and the only way it leaves is through evaporation or through what the plants use. Also, in aquaponics, you don't have to do rarely any weeding. The only way you'd have to do weeding is if a seed blows into the thing, you can just pull it out and the whole roots come out, so there's limited weeding. Also, you can't use pesticides or herbicides in aquaponics. This is because if your tomato plant has a caterpillar on it and you spray some pesticides on it, those pesticides go into the water, and as a result it kills the fish, and then the whole system shuts down. So also in aquaponics, the plants grow much faster than in regular gardening. You can grow a head of lettuce in a month in the ground of regular gardening, and in that same area in aquaponics you can grow 3 heads of lettuce. So the main product of aquaponics is both the fish and the fruits and vegetables. So here are just some examples of home systems that you can have at your own home. The one on the right is of an IVC tuft. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but they cut it in half and have the fish at the bottom and then the plants growing at the top. The other one is just using a 10-gallon aquarium and some simple material you can buy. Another example, the plants are actually grown instead of in soil, in pH neutral gravel or hydroton. The roots grow in there, so instead of having to deal with soil and dirt, you just put the plant roots in there and they attach to that. So here's an example of a commercial aquaponic system. This one is actually located in Half Moon Bay. It's called Our Barrows Aquaponics Farm. The picture on the right shows where the fish are located. Those are each 1,200 gallons, and they have 8 of those there. And the picture on the left is the vegetables they grow. This is a small one. There are actually massive aquaponics systems out there, but this is just an example. So now that you know a little bit of what aquaponics is, we'll go into how it works. So here's a diagram of a basic structure of aquaponics. So you have the fish at the bottom. They produce waste, which is from pooping or from their gills. That waste is then pumped up to the top where the plants are. The plants, as I said before, are in gravel. That gravel is bacteria that are attached to the gravel to the sides of the tank, and that bacteria convert the fish waste into nutrients the plants are able to use, and then the clean water goes back down to where the fish are. So it's a recirculating ecosystem. So the fish help the plants grow, and the plants help the fish grow. So the plants and fish are both important in aquaponics. However, the magic actually happens with the bacteria in the aquaponics, so that is the nitrogen cycle. So the first step in the nitrogen cycle is to add nitrogen into the system. This is added by the form of fish food for the fish. The fish food is made out of protein, and that protein is made out of amino acids, which are made up of nitrogen. So the fish, they eat the fish food, and within the fish's stomach there are microbes that break apart the fish food into ammonia or ammonium, primarily ammonium. After the fish food is broken into ammonium, the nitrification starts. The ammonia is then oxidized by oxygen in the atmosphere and converted into nitrites. This is due to the bacteria, Nitrosomnus bacteria. That there are many different bacteria in aquaponics. This is the one that is easiest to grow in a petri dish plate and in a lab, but there are many different bacteria that are involved in this process. So the ammonia is oxidized by oxygen and then turned into nitrites. And while this is going on, also carbon is broken off of CO2. So after the ammonia, which is harmful to the fish, is converted into nitrites, which is also harmful to the fish, is then converted into nitrates. The process is pretty similar to that from ammonia to nitrites. The nitrites are also oxidized, but instead of oxygen from the atmosphere, it is used from the oxygen within the water itself. The NO2 minus, or the nitrites, is oxidized and turned into nitrates. This is due to the bacteria Nitrobacter. Again, there are thousands of bacteria that involved in this process, but this is the one that is also easiest to cultivate in a petri dish. So also same, as this is going on, carbon is fixed from the atmosphere. So after the ammonia is converted into nitrates, the plants are now able to use those nitrates. It's in a usable form that the plants can use and that is not harmful to the fish. So the plants take up those nitrates, and then the plants in turn give clean water back to the fish, so everything keeps recirculating. So important to note that in aquaponics, pH and temperature is very important. The fish, the plants, and the bacteria all need a certain temperature and pH to survive and to do the best or produce the best they can. So the ideal pH for aquaponics is between 6.5 and 7.0. This allows the fish to survive, the plants to produce, and the bacteria to do their process. The temperature is a little less lenient. It's more focused on the bacteria because fish, there's different kinds of fish, they have different temperature. Plants also need different temperatures for the roots. So mainly the temperature should be above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Then below that, the bacteria, the process of the nitrogen cycle slows down and the bacteria aren't able to do it that well. So again, here's just how the aquaponic system looks. The fish produce the waste of ammonia, it goes up to where the plants are, the nitrogen cycle takes place, and then the ammonia is converted into nitrates, and then that is cleaned and given back to the plants, to the fish in the form of clean water. So, yes. Any questions? Yes.
So the growing bed has bacteria inside it, or the bacteria is inside the water?
Say that again?
The growing bed?
Oh, the grow bed? Yeah, there's different types of grow beds. So there's bacteria floating in the water, but the bacteria prefer to attach to different surfaces. So they attach to, say, the surfaces of a tank, like the sink, or to the gravel, which the plants grow into, and then they're able to survive.
You have one at home?
Yeah, this is actually my setup. It's not done yet though.
So you have this at home and animals too?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So the ammonia is found in the fish poop, or is it just like
Microbes within the fish's stomach break apart the fish food into the ammonia.
Like, would you consider this to be like a replacement for like normal farming?
It depends on how people want to farm. The problem with this is the initial cost is quite expensive if you want to set it up, but you can grow many things faster in a short amount of period. Like for the commercial, if they do it commercially, it's mainly for the plants or the vegetables because there's aquaculture and it's cheaper to grow fish that way, even though it does have a lot of waste. But it just depends. Because I have a regular garden, and this as well. Well, it's not done yet, but anyway.
You presented it, at least several times you mentioned that the plants and the bacteria that are living with the plants clean the water for the fish, but is there a benefit to the plants?
Yeah, so the plants, whereas in a soil garden, you have to add fertilizer and different nutrients. All the nutrients are stuck in the system, so the nitrogen is one of the main substances plants need to grow. All the others are in there. The only thing that you really need to add is iron for the plants to grow, but the plants grow much faster in aquaponics because they are not limited to the nutrients they have. Whereas in a regular garden, they have to battle different plants to find those nutrients. So. thank you for watching. That was just a simple video or a speech that I gave for my biology class about aquaponics. Talks about how the ammonia is converted into nitrites and then into nitrates so the plants can use it. So I hope that you were able to gain something from that, and please feel free to leave a comment, give a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.